Hey everybody, I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and this is a Fox First Scent for I Am Setsuna. The PC port just came out if you're watching this as soon as the video is released. And I'm having a little trouble at the title screen here figuring out how to start the game. The exit screen comes up for some strange reason, but we'll talk more about that later. This is meant to be a sort of trip back in time when it comes to JRPGs, an old-fashioned, semi-isometric viewpoint Chrono Trigger-like RPG experience, back similar to what you might experience on the Super Nintendo. Now, if this is an attempt to draw up those nostalgic feelings, well, I am the audience for that, because I played Chrono Trigger back in the day when it was brand new. I couldn't wait for it to be released. Of course, back then, games didn't necessarily have a hard release date. They just sort of came out when they came out. But that was a different time. You even get to a homeworld, an overworld, just like in Chrono Trigger, where you walk around and everything's sort of miniaturized, and then you locate a different area, basically you click, and then you zone into that area. You'll also notice as we get into combat, there are even more similarities to Chrono Trigger with that. Some pretty cool special effects like the snow and whatnot, some fog. A lot of the fog, though, makes the game look unnecessarily dark, but I'm sure maybe I could turn up the brightness. There aren't a lot of settings in the game, unfortunately. We'll get to those later, but you'll notice that your options are attack, tech, and item. And yes, you can combine your tech skills with the tech skills of other characters in the game and effectively do exactly what you would expect from a Chrono Trigger inspired game. So the combat is ripped almost entirely straight from Chrono Trigger. I do recommend turning the voices in the game off. I think everything, as far as I can tell, is in text format. There is no voice acting, except for during combat, they make little noises, or they say little things like Yaruzo and all these other little Japanese phrases that, to me, just make it sound cheap. I've never liked that in JRPGs when characters repeat the same phrase over and over again. I don't mind if they make like a grunt noise if they get hit, that makes sense, but I always turn those off whenever I can, and I recommend doing so here as well. You can choose to play in either Japanese or English, which is always nice. You'll notice from the graphics, as you watch this, the town level as well, the enemies, there is some 2D art in the background, obviously. That looks hand-drawn, but the enemies, the character models, whatnot, are all 3D. And the problem I have with that is they don't always mesh very well in games that try this. And here, I don't think they really mix very well. It's not a terrible example. There are far worse examples. But you'll notice here when I get out of the snow, if you look at my character's legs, that none of the characters have feet. The legs simply kind of taper down into what looks like stilts. It tapers down into a little thin, almost like the leg of like a tripod or something. It looks kind of strange. The character's hands are exceptionally large for the character, so they're not trying to be realistic, obviously, but in an age where we expect a little bit more from games, it's strange that they would have these sorts of graphics, this sort of art style, almost akin to what you would see in Final Fantasy VII when you were running around. The characters were super blocky because they had to be. Onto the settings, this is it, guys. Full screen windowed and resolution. Yeah, not a lot going on there. No anti-aliasing option, none of those other settings, VSync, all that jazz. I use G-Sync, so for me, I'm not sure if this is gonna have any screen tearing for you or not. You can always force VSync, obviously, through third-party programs and also your graphics card's control panel. When I got in here, I noticed immediately it was impossible to even get past this screen right here. I couldn't figure out how to start the game. The controller wasn't working properly because I have an Xbox One controller, and apparently those don't work with this game properly. And when the controller is detected, it even disabled the keyboard. So I struggled for the longest time just to figure out how to shut the game down so I could restart it. Eventually, I figured out that the Xbox One controller works if you plug it in and then reinstall some drivers, so I did get it to work, but it had to remain plugged in with a micro USB cable. You'll see here, if not this fight, but in the next fight, that we do a combo tech, where the two of us together fight. You're supposed to be able to hit the attack button when you see that little blue thing pop up above your head and get some extra bonuses from it. It's called momentum. The problem I had is that as soon as I would click to make an attack, or to do a tech or something like that, boom, that thing would pop up above my head like immediately. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to have time to hit the button again. I mean, you'd have to like mash the button twice in a row super fast. You'll noticing that pops up as soon as I do the attack. So maybe I just don't get how that works, but you're supposed to be able to time your button press as soon as that pops up. Here's an X strike. Combo tech, and you'll notice also that if the enemies are nearby to each other, then you will hit both at the same time. So just like in Chrono Trigger, the enemies will wander around, and there are certain techs that will have an area of effect. Most of them do have an area of effect. And so any enemies that are in that area of effect will get hit. Unfortunately, just like with Chrono Trigger, you can't actually move your character around, and you can't control the movement of the enemies. So whether the enemies actually stack together, whether they group together or not, is completely random. They just sort of wander around on the battlefield, and you have no control over it. So in that regard, it just feels like kind of a random number generator, roll of the dice if you get lucky enough that they just happen to all sort of stack up on top of each other so you can hit them all at once with your techs. Again, I don't know how that button prompt thing's supposed to work where it pops up above the head, because I couldn't get it to work. But hey, if you can get it to work, good for you. Now, if you look at the feet, well, there are no feet actually. Look at the legs on these characters, and you'll see why I can't get over that. That's so odd. There are a lot of really odd choices that were made in this game, and I'm not really even sure why, because as far as I know, it released for PlayStation 4 and PC. Now, maybe they're planning a mobile release of the game, and that would make sense to reduce the total polygonal count, reduce the polygons, so it makes it easier to run on mobile devices. But ultimately, a lot of the 3D models in this game look like upscaled, up-resed mobile game character models, which is not a good thing. It sort of clashes with the nicer, higher-res 2D backgrounds as well. So, not a big fan of the graphics, the art style. I just don't feel like it really meshes very well. And the music. The music is nothing but piano. It appears to be only piano with very, 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 very little percussion in a couple tracks. But essentially being only piano, it just sounds like one of those cheap, like, relaxing piano tune CDs that you would buy at like a grocery store or something on an end cap. But that is I Am Setsuna. This will give you an idea of whether you'd like to pick it up and try it or not. I'm Fox with FoxeoGames, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I'm constantly working on more videos. I'm pretty busy in real life, but I try to get out as much as I can, including these Fox First Sent videos, as well as my Fox reviews. You can check out one of these. I did a review of Salt and Sanctuary on the PC, as well as Odin Sphere Life Thrasier for the PlayStation 4. If you liked the video, you can click the like button, and if you want to see more of this stuff, well, you can click subscribe to subscribe to my channel and get notifications in your inbox of all of my new videos. Again, I want to thank you so much. I love playing games. I hope you love playing them too, and watching my videos about them. Make sure to leave your comments below, and I will see you guys next time.